So, okay, we're carrying on. The first card, of course, the Two of Wands. So a lot of you, as I said, are standing at a crossroads right now, and I can really feel that. So because of something within your past, even within this past month, 2 months to 6 months, there was a transition or change. Something shifted in your world. And as many of you are standing at this crossroads, there's this uncertainty which creates fear. And so a lot of you are ready to step into this new identity, this new life, this new, healthier relationship, a new career, a new place to live. And as I said in the first little video there, was that this is a theme that I see coming up a lot when I'm speaking with people. And this time, and even for myself, this past year has been a time of really uncovering truth. And when we see things for as they really are, we may have seen them differently, seen something or person, relationship, career. We may have seen something different in the past. And recently, those truths have been uncovered. And so, again, at this crossroads, because there is this uncertainty, there is a fear of where this path will lead you. And so I just want to say that when we have that fear rise up, you always know that you are on the verge of a major life transition, and you are ready to step into a new identity. And I know this because I've been there many times before in the past. And it's almost like you see this line of fire and you feel this fear rise up as you move toward that line of fire or that ring of fire. But once you step through that fire, once you just walk through, it doesn't burn you. And what you realize is that everything shifts on the other side of that fear. So the second card I pulled here was the Moon. And this is what you might not be seeing. What you might not be seeing is that you have your own intuition. And there is that little voice that has been calling to you, and this little voice that keeps whispering to you. And you have to trust your gut and trust that intuition that we all have. Because when you feel that, even though many of us may push that to the side, really what it is our inner knowing, already knowing that we are ready to make that turn. So when we come to that crossroads, there's two choices to make, to go one way or the other. And really, if you stop and reflect a little bit and listen to your insides, you already have that knowledge of which direction you want to go. But there is this fear of, holding on to, or this need to hold on to your old identity. But as we're shifting into a new identity, as we're stepping into that new life, and as we're reaching for something bigger, we will have that feeling, or many call it the ego, that's trying to pull us back into what's safe and what we already know. But listen to your intuition, and that intuition will guide you. And really, if you feel even more uncertainty around that, what I typically will do is get out and do the pros and cons if you really need to do that. And that may help you, but the best thing is really listening to your intuition and listening to your heart. What does your heart need and want? And I see so many of you wanting to go back to the old identity and the old life for certain aspects or certain pieces of the old identity. And what I always say is that it doesn't mean because you're shifting and moving into a new future, a new path, a new purpose, or a new identity, you don't have to leave all those other pieces behind. You can bring some of them with you. For instance, if you just left a relationship and you want to move forward, and you know that you wanted to leave that relationship because it no longer served the new space and time that you're in right now. It didn't align with your highest frequency, or it didn't align with your new identity. But there's pieces of that relationship that you miss. You can take those pieces that you missed and you can incorporate them onto your new path, or into your new path, but without having to endure abuse or a relationship that doesn't feel fully aligned with who you now are and who you were desiring to become. And so the next steps are the Fool. So the next steps here are you moving forward by taking that time to meditate, do some breath work, do some journaling. I find that tarot coaching is so great for when we're at this crossroads or in a place of transition, because the tarot is a very powerful tool that gives us guidance, that gives us insight into where we are right now and where we're headed. And I love, when I'm coaching more than anything, the tarot coaching is what I prefer to do, which is kind of what I'm doing right now with this particular scenario or card pull that I did. But so with the Fool, that's about moving forward. So I know, and especially the ones that I'm in contact with the most, is that a decision was made and that decision feels final. And even though that ego piece of you or part of you is trying to pull you back to something that's comfortable, and yes, you're going through a grieving process, but at the same time, you're also moving forward because you have that strong desire to step into your new identity and your whole other life, essentially. Because leaving behind the career that you left, or leaving behind the relationships that you've left and left behind, is bringing you to a part or a point on your path where you're rediscovering who you really are as a sovereign being. And in that realization, there's excitement, because you are becoming who you're meant to become without all this chaos and drama that was around you in the past. And so I often find, a great thing to do is to put your hand on your chest as you're meditating or doing breath work. And I like to say, I'm here. This is where I am. I'm home. Because it just brings this awareness to you being a sovereign being. Like, this is you. You're fully self-contained. It now is time for you to just explore every aspect of who you truly are, because of the pieces that you left behind in past relationships. And so when you take that small amount of time to heal and to breathe and just to rediscover who you are, then the next piece of it, the Fool, where you're moving forward, I know that you're going to move forward with confidence, with more confidence, but it's more learning how to live with grief, because it's not like grief will go away. Grief doesn't actually ever go away. Grief just becomes a piece of who you are. And so really it's learning to live with the grief, learning to accept that grief, and learning just, it's just like your friend. It comes up every once in a while, and, you have your moment of sadness, of tears, and then you move forward from that. But it's always there with you. And so you'll learn to manage that grief and manage your life with grief in your life. But definitely stepping into this new chapter, this new identity, and moving forward. And I do see many people moving forward, and we're almost at that July mark where, for a lot of you that I've done recent readings, I know that that's been the mark of a time when you actually, it's almost like you walk through that door to your new life, your new chapter, your new identity, and you're moving, the door's there. So this little bit left here of the end of this month, there's just wrapping up some pieces, working through some more, some of the grief that you're working through. And it's just as you're walking along on your path, you see a door and you step into it. And I see that that's for so many of you right now. And so when you get to that door, just know that when you step through it and shut that door, that everything opens up for you on the other side. And it is true, when you close one door, another door opens. And so we're speaking in terms of a new identity, a new chapter on your path now. Once you choose to step through that door to a new identity, a bigger version of your life, more expansion, a new path, when you close that door, that next chapter will begin. So thank you so much for listening. I'd love to know what chapter you're about to start. Tell me in the comments. And if any of you want to have any information on my tarot coaching program, then comment tarot and I will send you some information on that. Have a great day, everyone.